28 years have passed, but the silence doesn't mean safety. The cities may seem calm, but something worse than rage is hiding in the shadows. And when the survivors think they've outrun the virus, the truth hits harder than any infected scream. The story begins not with chaos, but with quiet. London is no longer burning, but it isn't healed either. The broken buildings still stand like graves, and nature has taken over where humans once ruled. Survivors live in heavily protected, zones-walled cities where the rules are strict. Food is rationed, and trust is a luxury no one can afford. We're introduced to a new lead, Elena, a teenage girl born long after the initial outbreak. She's never seen the old world, only heard stories. She grows up inside a clean zone camp in the Scottish Highlands, where officials claim to have ended the rage virus, but Elena is curious. She sneaks past walls and rules. That curiosity uncovers something dangerous, an infected child locked in a cold storage room, still alive after weeks, still calm. Not raging. At the same time, we follow Marcus, a former military man now living as a hunter in the outskirts. He's part of a secret group that believes the virus isn't gone, it's sleeping. He's haunted by the past, by the things he did during 28 weeks later when the infection came back worse than ever. When Marcus hears rumors of a silent carrier, he sets out to investigate. Elena and Marcus meet after she escapes her camp, chased by guards. He saves her, but not for free. He wants to know what she saw. She tells him about the boy. That's when Marcus realizes the virus has changed. The boy wasn't calm because he was cured. He was calm because the rage inside him was waiting. The film shows how different groups are dealing with the world 28 years later. Some believe in rebuilding, others in controlling, and some in burning everything that might bring the virus back. We see a rising force called the Cleansers, a brutal cult that believes the only way to save Earth is to kill every human touched by the virus. Even those born decades later, Elena's blood is special. Unknown to her, she was born from a mother who survived infection. She might be the first true hybrid, part immune, part carrier. As soldiers from the government, cleansers, and survivors all try to find her, she becomes the key to everything. The story builds suspense by showing hints that the virus isn't spreading like before. It's smarter. It waits inside people, possibly for generations. One woman breaks down crying because her partner, who showed no signs of infection for years, suddenly snapped. Children are being tested in secret labs. Whispers of Rage 2.0 spread like wildfire. The world feels tired. Humanity isn't rebuilding a future, it's just holding its breath, waiting for the next outbreak. And as the camera zooms out from Elena's frightened face in the woods, we hear a scream echo from far away. A scream that sounds almost controlled. The first act sets up not just a return of horror, but an evolution of it. This time, the virus isn't loud, it's patient. And patience is more terrifying than rage. It doesn't foam at the mouth anymore. It doesn't chase, it doesn't scream. That's what makes Rage 2.0 so terrifying. The new virus doesn't burn hot like before. It waits, it listens, and it learns. And when it finally strikes, there's no warning, no bloodshot eyes. Number. Roaring madness, just silence. Then death. In the world of 28 years later, science believed it had won. Years ago, researchers announced a neutralized strain of the rage virus. Governments built labs, underground, and tested on everything: rats, monkeys, even infected survivors frozen in stasis. But they misunderstood the enemy. Rage didn't die, it adapted. It changed the way it spreads, the way it hides. No longer an instant infection, rage now survives by staying quiet inside its host. For days, weeks, even years, the first signs of mutation appeared in the clean zones. People who had never left the walls started showing strange behavior. They weren't violent, not at first. They became detached, cold, unable to connect. A young guard stabbed his friend during a routine patrol, claiming he heard screaming in his blood. But when tested, he showed no signs of the original virus. Still, he was locked away and later vanished. Others soon followed. The mutation acts like a sleeper agent. It enters the bloodstream but doesn't explode. It waits for a trigger: stress, trauma, fear. When the moment comes, it flips a switch, and that's when the new kind of rage takes over. Victims don't lose control, like before. Instead, they become calculated killers. Still infected, still brutal, but with purpose. Elena, the teenage girl at the heart of the story, becomes the center of this mystery. After her escape, Marcus and his allies take her to a secret lab hidden beneath an old train station. There, a rogue scientist named Dr. Kayla has been tracking the evolution of the virus. She shows Marcus footage patients showing no symptoms for months, suddenly snapping and killing everyone in their path. One boy, just 10 years old, sat silently in a chair for 3 days, then tore out his own tongue and attacked 5 guards. Dr. Kayla believes the virus is now neuroadaptive. It chooses when to act, and more dangerously, it may even be protecting its host until the right moment. The infected don't know they're carriers. Some even build lives, raise children. And then, with no warning, it begins again. This section also reveals a haunting truth. Elena's blood holds traces of both immunity and infection. Her mother survived the original rage, and Elena was born from that legacy. But she's not immune. She's something new. Dr. Kayla believes Elena could be the first human the virus sees as home, not a target, not prey, a partner, and that's why she's being hunted. The cleansers, those brutal cultists who believe in total purity, want to burn her body and erase her from history. The government wants to capture her and harvest her blood for vaccines. And the virus, it wants to protect her, to spread through her. She's not just a survivor. She's a symbol. A bridge between human and infected. Rage 2.0 doesn't need to destroy the world anymore. It just needs to live inside it. Quietly, slowly, until one day. It doesn't. The mutation raises horrifying questions. How many people are infected and don't know it? How many soldiers, nurses, lovers are ticking time bombs? And most terrifying, what if the next generation is already born with it? By the end of this section, the audience understands one chilling truth. Rage has changed its game. It no longer needs chaos to win. It just needs time, asterisk. They thought the worst was behind them. The virus was no longer wild. Elena had made it through. The government's traps, escaped the cleanser's flames, and found shelter among rebels who promised protection. But what no one realized, what even Elena didn't know, was that the real ending wasn't survival. It was activation. The final act begins with a false calm. Elena and Marcus reach Haven 9, a hidden underground sanctuary built inside a crumbled subway network. It's where those who've rejected both science and cult dogma have built a quiet, functioning community. They believe the key to defeating the virus is not war, but coexistence. Elena's blood, they say, could teach them how, but something's off. The children at Haven 9 behave strangely around Elena. One of them touches her hand and says, "You're warm like us." At first, it's brushed off as a child's words, but the tension builds. That night, Marcus begins having visions, memories that aren't his. He sees the outbreak from 28 years ago. He watches a woman, Elena's mother, stand in a burning building with infected eyes and smile. Meanwhile, Dr. Kayla, back in her lab, discovers a horrifying truth in Elena's blood work. She rushes to warn them, but it's too late. In the final confrontation, it's revealed that Elena's presence has been triggering something deep in the minds of those around her, especially those who carry dormant traces of rage. But it's not an accident. Her body emits a subtle neural signal, an evolved form of the virus that doesn't infect. It awakens. The virus is no longer just about biting and blood. It's psychic. It connects. It spreads without touch through emotion, memory, and fear. The twist hits like a slow bomb. Elena didn't survive because she was immune. She survived because she is the virus's next phase. A carrier queen, not by choice, but by design. The virus has been guiding her all along, keeping her alive, helping her find the perfect place to begin again. Haven-9.1 of the most chilling scenes comes just before the final outbreak. A child in Haven 9 walks to Elena while the others sleep and whispers, "It's time." Moments later, dozens of Haven residents begin moving in sync. No rage, no screams, just eerie coordination. Their eyes go blank. Then Red Dot Marcus realizes the truth. This was never about a cure. It was about evolution. Elena isn't the end of Rage. She's the beginning of something smarter, something patient, something impossible to kill. Rage has become a part of humanity, and she is its messenger. He tries to stop her. He raises his gun. But before he can pull the trigger, Elena looks at him with tears in her eyes and says, "I didn't choose this." Then the screen flashes. Black. The final scene shows a drone camera recording an abandoned camp. There's no sound, just wind. Then a figure walks into frame. It's Elena, alone, calm. She looks up into the sky. Her eyes don't glow red, they glow gold. Cut to black. The ending isn't just a twist, it's a warning. Rage no longer destroys the body, it reshapes the mind, and Elena, she might be the first of a new species. Asterisk. The screen went dark, but the silence said more than any scream ever could. Elena's golden eyes weren't a sign of peace. They were evolution's final answer. And in that haunting last moment, 28 years later, didn't just end, it rewrote what horror really means. This wasn't about survival anymore. It was about what humanity is becoming. Let's break down what the ending truly represents. For years, the Rage virus was seen as chaos, fast, violent, uncontrollable. But in this final chapter, Rage proves it doesn't need to be loud to win. The virus learned. It adapted. And most terrifying of all, it learned the patience. Elena symbolizes that evolution. She's not a villain, not entirely. She's the child of both worlds, born from a human mother who survived infection, carrying a virus that no longer burns but whispers. The film's real message isn't just about disease. It's about transformation, about how pain and fear don't always destroy, they change you. The virus no longer wants to end humanity. It wants to merge with it, to become a quiet passenger inside us. And Elena, unknowingly, is its perfect vessel. Her journey reflects a deeper truth. How often do we carry things inside us? Rage, trauma, grief that don't show on the outside, that don't break us immediately but twist us slowly? Rage 2.0 is more than a sci-fi concept. It's a metaphor for hidden anger, generational pain, and emotional infection. The people around Elena weren't bitten, they were influenced, changed, by being near her. Just like people change when exposed to unresolved trauma, slowly, quietly. That's why the twist hits so hard. Because even as we root for Elena, we're watching her become something inhuman, and she knows it. Her final words to Marcus, "I didn't choose this," carry deep weight. She's aware, she's afraid, but she's also awakening. The gold in her eyes isn't evil. It's understanding. Some fans believe the ending hints at a new evolution of the species, that Elena isn't alone, that others like her children of infected survivors are scattered across the globe waiting for the same trigger. Others suggest the virus is now alive in memory and emotion, passed through shared pain, that we're all infected in some way, just waiting for our moment to break. The most terrifying part, there is no cure. Not anymore, because the virus has moved beyond science. It's emotional. It's psychological. It's spiritual. And once it reaches that level, how do you fight it? 28 years later doesn't end with explosions or death. It ends with possibility. A quiet, dangerous possibility that the future doesn't belong to humans anymore, not in the way we knew them. The future might belong to hybrids, to survivors, to something new. And that's the final, chilling truth. Rage didn't destroy the world. It changed it. And now it wears a human face.